had a really interesting call with one of my clients this afternoon, and I wanted to come on and share with you guys just in case any of you maybe had a similar question. So if you are new to my world, most people just think that I'm a relationship coach, and that is just romantic relationships, but it's so much more than that. Literally, I teach every person about energy, how to understand the energy that is around you at any given moment. So I coach people on romantic relationships, of course. I help people find love, but I also help people in their business, with the energy in their business, with the energy and the relationship with their children, with their friends. And then I also teach people about personal development. That is my absolute favorite thing to coach people on. And that is what this client was working on, because she's really focused on figuring out what her purpose is in life. And this was our second session. And she asked me if I thought that she was intuitive, psychic, or if she could be a medium, if that was maybe her purpose on the planet. Because apparently she follows some other person who they tell the world that they believe that everyone is intuitive, that everyone can be a medium, and that everyone is psychic. I don't believe that, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I do believe that every person on this planet has intuition. Everyone has a gut feeling for themselves. I do not believe that everyone has intuition in the ability to predict things or to give others advice on their life. I look at it as 98% of people on this planet can throw a baseball, but not 98% of people throw that ball good enough to be in the major leagues. That's why everybody's not a major league baseball player. Same with singing. Most people can sing. Most people can sing and make noise come out of their mouth, but not everybody's going to win a freaking Grammy. I do believe that everyone has an intuitive ability. I do not believe that everyone should or can use that ability for other people. The other thing she asked me was if she was intuitive, could she be psychic if she was not born with it? Because I think a lot of people's stories, especially most of the mediums and psychics that are really popular right now, it's like a generational thing. They're like a 5th generation psychic medium. And that is the case for most people. But for me, that was not my experience at all. The other thing is, a lot of the clairs, so the way that you get information from spirit, from your higher self, from whatever you believe in, it comes in ways that sometimes you don't realize other people don't have that ability. And that's what happened to me. I do not know anyone in my family who has a psychic ability or who is a medium. I didn't realize and really come into my gifts and my abilities until I was like 38, so like late 30s. And psychic ability, I did not realize had always been part of me. I just didn't realize that's what it was. And I was explaining this to my client today, and I'm like, well, I am clairaudient, meaning that I hear spirit. Here is where it gets a little hard for people to understand. I don't hear spirit in my ears. I don't hear like someone whispering in my ear. I don't hear anything. I mean, sometimes I can, but that's not how I receive clairaudience. When I am getting information clairaudiently, it is a voice that I hear in my head that I know is not mine. And it's usually not in full sentences. It's usually 1, 2, maybe like 5 words. Sometimes they are literal, sometimes they are metaphorical. But I've learned over time how to distinguish that voice from my ego and my voice. And this is what I was telling her today. Like, I've always heard this voice my entire life, but I didn't know that that voice wasn't mine. The way that I was taught to distinguish it is the voice in my head. I always hear it on the same side of my head. It's always on the left side of my head. That may be different for you. It may be the right. or maybe the middle. Some people it's the middle, but for me it's always on the left side. And it's not a man's voice, it's not a woman's voice, it's not my voice, it's just a voice that I know is not mine. It's the same voice that I hear whenever I'm also doing mediumship. So if I connect to someone who has crossed over, I don't necessarily hear their voice. I hear the same voice that talks to me clairaudiently, if that makes any sense. So the difference is that the voice that I'm hearing in my head that is not mine, it's not a thought. It's not an intentional thought of mine. And my thoughts, when I think a thought, it's on the right side of my head. I'm also clairvoyant, which means that I see images in my mind, sort of like a movie screen, sort of like a daydream. And sometimes it's really, really fast. Other times it is like a little bit longer and a little bit more drawn out, but most of the time it's really fast. I am also claircognizant, and claircognizance means that I will just know something. There's no way that I know how I know it, I just know that I know it. What it took me a while to really tap into is that just because you're clairaudient, just because you're claircognizant, just because you're clairvoyant, Spirit doesn't send those one at a time. When I was sort of honing my abilities, they did, and now I never know how I'm going to get information, and sometimes I get it all three ways all at once. The other clair that I have that is a little less common is called clairgustance, and that is a smelling clair or a tasting clair. It's different. It's harder for me, and I don't get that one as much, but I'll give you guys an example because I was texting someone, was it yesterday or the day before, and like I was listening to a voice memo, and then all of a sudden I didn't even respond to what they said. I just replied and I was like, wait, are you making bacon? Like, I see bacon and I smell bacon. So like, what's with the bacon? And they were cooking bacon. So that's kind of how that all plays out together. But back to the mediumship part of it, because she's taking this mediumship course because this other person that she follows is like, take my mediumship course, I'll teach you how to connect. Just no. First of all, being a medium is not all that it's fucking cracked up to be. If you're going to try to be a medium for other people to make money, that is a whole other ball game, because these are people's loved ones that have transitioned, and you cannot take that work lightly. And it is absolutely something that you cannot go into blindly and just be like, oh, hey, I'm a medium. If you are a medium, you will know that you are a fucking medium. I'm not saying that some people cannot take this course and develop their mediumship abilities, because I do think that that's possible, but I do not think that every single person in that course is meant to be a medium. There's no freaking way that's possible, because how mediumship happened for me, it was completely unintentional. And I had been told by several card readers, several psychics, several other intuitive people that I was very psychic. I was very intuitive, and that I was going to be a medium. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see dead people. Like, I don't have any desire to see dead people. Something that most people don't know about me is that I am 41 years old. I have never had anyone super close to me pass away. I've had one good friend that passed away. We were so close in high school, but when she died, we were not close. So I don't really have any experience with death or dying. And I think in my mind, I was always like, why would I want to be a medium? I don't want to talk to anybody. But let me say this. I do think that every person who has lost a loved one or a friend or someone that you know, someone that was significant in your life, I do believe that you have the ability to connect with them all on your own. You don't need a medium for that. I do not believe that every person has the ability to be a medium for other people. That's my public service announcement for this entire video. For me, it came very suddenly, completely out of the blue. I was not trying to make it happen. I was literally in the shower, And my friend Heather, her father had passed away, but I didn't know him. So I honestly didn't know how he had passed. I didn't know anything about their relationship. He came to me in the shower, and I heard a voice in my head that I knew was not mine. And I just instantly knew who it was. He didn't say her name. He said, "Give my baby girl this green elephant." It's literally what he said. But I knew it was for Heather. He didn't say that. I just knew. So that's claircognizance. And met her, and I was telling her, and I was like, "Look, I don't know anything about your dad, but did he call you baby girl?" And she just immediately lost it. Like, there's no way that I could know that. Like, my dad doesn't call me baby girl. So I was like, this could totally be a fluke, or this could actually be something. So that's the other thing with mediumship and psychic ability. You have to have the confidence to deliver the messages no matter how fucking crazy they sound. Another example is the second time that a person who had passed away came to me was during one of my sound healing sessions, and it was a man that I had never met who was a professional bodybuilder. I'm playing the bowls over this guy who had never been to a session before, and all of a sudden I hear this voice in my head, but I knew it was a man. And he's like, "That's my brother. That's my brother." That's my brother. It's what I kept saying over and over and over. And I had the choice in that moment, whenever it was over, if I was going to say something to him and relay the message from this spirit, or if I was just going to let him leave and go on about his business, because I didn't want to look like the crazy person. But this spirit was so intense, and he was telling me things about this man that there's no way that I could know. But also, like, if I say this to this man and it's wrong, I'm going to look like a complete psychopath. I wasn't imagining it. Like, I knew I was a medium at this point because I was hearing things that there's no way I could know. So one of the significant things that this spirit told me was that the guy that was at my session had something on him that was from the person who had passed away. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's not jewelry. It's not clothes. I was like, but I think it's something like under your shirt maybe. And he looked at me and his eyes got so big, because this is literally out of nowhere. Like, I don't advertise that I do this. And he's like, he did all my tattoos. He was a tattoo artist. And I instantly heard, no, he didn't. There's one he didn't do. So I'm literally having a conversation with this man as I am sort of channeling this person, because I'm like, did you have a brother that passed away? Like, and he's like, I had a friend that was like my brother that passed away. And I was like, well, he kind of looks like you. And this is what he's saying. Like, he didn't do that tattoo. And I'm like, he's saying if he would have done it, it would look a lot better. He immediately burst out laughing. And he's like, oh my God, that's like something, exactly like something he would say. And at this point, I'm like, thank God, because I mean, a very uncomfortable situation to be put in. And at that point, I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know how to talk to specific people and how to not talk to other people. And it was just very much a learning experience for me. But I had to have the confidence in myself to be able to be like, look, this is what I'm hearing. Okay, does this make any sense at all? Am I crazy? Like, am I delusional? Or am I really talking to this person that I've never met, that has passed away, that you knew, that I've also never met? And it's all very real. Very, very fucking real. So in that moment, like, I knew I was a medium because there's no other way I could have known those things. Do I want to be a medium? Not necessarily. And I don't get messages for everyone. But if I do get a message and it's so persistent, I share the message, but it's always from a place of kindness and compassion and healing. Because there are some people who claim that they can do certain things, and they're literally just doing it to take advantage of people who are in pain. And I'm not that person. So if you have any questions about psychic abilities, mediumship, intuitive, anything, just leave me a comment, and I'm happy to make some more videos, help you guys any way that I can. Because had I not had incredibly supportive friends and mentors that I knew I could talk to about this stuff, I probably would have dismissed it all and ended up in the psych ward because I would think I was crazy because I just keep hearing all these voices. But here I am. So please let me know if you have any questions at all, if you want me to get into this any further. I am so happy to help. And if you are also curious about your purpose or your relationships or anything like that, and you want to book a private coaching session, the link is in my bio. And if you are local to the Nashville, Tennessee area and you are interested in coming to a sound healing session, I'm going to link the calendar